In school, you were taught about the Civil War, and they told you that the Civil War was about slavery, was about freeing the slaves, but that was a lie. 422,704,975 pounds of cotton was exported from the South. That's about 1.4 billion in 1 year. What they didn't clarify was the fact that your family members fought with the Confederate. Isn't that something? Your family members fought with the Confederate. The Civil War happened roughly from 1861 to 1865. Black soldiers didn't really retreat until about 1863 when they realized the blacks were put on the front line to shoot at each other. Isn't that something? Black soldiers for the Confederate retreated. Meanwhile, black soldiers from the Union were still being slaughtered. Please let me just unpack this real quick. The Civil War was the nail in the coffin. Hey man, kick us out of the Union so that we can form the Confederate States and go to war with each other. And take all their cotton and take all their resources and massacre them during the process. And that's what happened. The women were pushed into these prison camps while the men and the boys were off at war.
News Channel 12 at 6.
Concentration camps. People mostly associate the term with Nazi Germany, but historians say it's true. They also existed in America. During the Civil War, authorities in Natchez, Mississippi forced tens of thousands of freed slaves into camps built in what's known as the Devil's Punch Bowl. Jacob Kittelstadt explores this forgotten history this Mystery Monday.
Untouched fruit falls to the ground near the banks of the Mississippi River.
They talk about there's the most beautiful wild peach groves down in the Punch Bowl.
And researcher Paula Westbrook says, like a peach, the area known as the Devil's Punch Bowl has a pit, a mass grave from the 1860s. Historians estimate that in 1 year, up to 20,000 freed slaves died in contraband camps below these bluffs.
When the slaves were released from the plantations during the occupation, they overran Natchez, and the population went from about 10,000 to 120,000 overnight.
So they decided to build an encampment for them at Devil's Punch Bowl, which they walled off and wouldn't let them out.
Don Estes is the former director of the Natchez City Cemetery.
I just put my own tombstone right there. You see Estes?
Learning history's been his life. He says Union troops ordered recaptured black men to perform hard labor.
Straight down, right here.
While women and children were all but left to die in the 3 Punch Bowl prisons.
Disease broke out among them, smallpox being the main one, and thousands died. They were begging to get out, turn me loose and I'll go home back to the plantation, anywhere but there. But they wouldn't let them out.
The Union Army did not allow them to remove the bodies from the camp. They just gave them shovels and said, bury them where they drop.
And I'd really like to show you more of this terrain, but it's just too thick with greenery. These bluffs are also straight down, so not only is it dangerous to navigate, it's still very mysterious back there.
It's a bed of alligators and snakes. It would take Indiana Jones to get back in there at this point. Wild peach trees that come up down there, but no one in Natchez will eat them because they know what the fertilizer was.
If this was about freeing slaves, why was people captured as contrabands? Your people fought with the Confederate, and Harriet Tubman was a spy for the Union. And then she'll snitch. Because what her job was to go into these different tribes and basically tell the white people, all right, they hiding over here behind the woods, it's 20 of them. Because she knew that she ain't had nothing to do with freeing slaves. But them Tubmans got a payout for Harriet's work as a spy for the Union Army, and it was called Liberia. They ran Liberia for a long time. In fact, there may be a Tubman in power over there right now. The Tubmans, they got Tubman University over there in Liberia too. They got a payout.